And I know this about a friend of mine who just went through a miscarriage, and she would say stuff like, "Oh, I think Amazon won't hire me because I'm really bad at delivery." Okay, stuff like that. And I'm like, "Okay, why haven't you finished your drink?" And she's like, "Oh, that's the only way I can nurse." And I'm like, "Oh my God."
So basically, the graveyards over here for the children are like this only, that you're going to find multiple dead bodies for a lot of babies one on top of another. So my mom, though, in fact, thought I want a tombstone, not even like straight. I want a slanting. I don't want you lifting that shit up and putting someone else on her. She is going to get her space. So she had.
Yeah, my kid will get a bungalow, no multi-story shit for that for my child.
This is like very, North Indian.
Yeah.
I have seen who came to me and said, "Arey, chali gayi." No shit, Sherlock. I literally burnt her body. मतलब
Yeah.
पूरी तरह जलने तो फिर मुझे बताना फैक्ट फिक्शन क्या है. Hello guys, welcome to our podcast. We are two millennial women who love gupshup, especially about things that women care about. I'm Arushi. I am a content creator, an anchor, an editor, a writer, lots of things. Depends on the day. And I have a lot of things to say.
And I'm Siddhika. I am a creative strategist, a digital community builder, a founder, and now I host this podcast with this pretty lady called Gopal. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about something very serious, but something everyone has dealt with. It's death, grieving, and just the general topic about feelings in this.
Yeah, like everybody will go through it at some point. So grab your coffee or chai ka cup and let's get into today's go. So everybody goes through it. Everybody will go through it at some point. But as a society, like as a whole, we refuse to talk about it.
Yeah.
And that's why today we are taking the responsibility of talking about death and grief and things that come with it.
And I feel like even though our societies have structured grieving or the time of grieving, like, okay, fine, you need to have X amount of days in this year that you can like grieve, or certain religions are like X amount of days after the person dies, you're supposed to like grieve or something like that. But it's not possible for you to mentally and emotionally put a time frame. And when it comes to death in particular and losing, depending on how close or the type of relationship with the person, it might even be forever. You will never get over it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, especially that person meant a lot to you. There, it's like a part of you is gone. Now, if you lose a hand, how do you ever get over it? You learn to live without that hand. Like, suppose I lose my right hand, I will learn to write with my left hand. I will work around it, but I will never not miss my right hand. No, I will always miss it.
So I remember when my sister passed away, this was like when I was in school, I was like 16ish. She used to like open the door and run around and stuff. She was Down syndrome, so Down syndrome kids, anyway, depending on the type of autistic Down syndrome person you have in your life, they may or may not have a short life. So I, like you said, the phantom limb situation, I had like a phantom emotion sort of a thing that, okay, she's going to open the door and she's going to come. For a very long time, I had that thing, okay, she's going to come out of the door. But again, like certain cases of death are very different to others. So I've even seen like my grandfather die. And it was very, I mean, he lived his life. Let's keep it like that. I've seen a lot of people who are in that age group die. And like the feeling of that is different. And I also, unfortunately, recently, you even know that, like someone close to me lost their brother. And that person died an untimely death. A young, fit person died, and that too because of a travel accident. So it's very sad then when you feel like, okay, people have not lived their life, and every one of those griefs, let's keep it like that,
Yeah.
is so different from the other.
Exactly, yeah. Especially like for the person who's going through it, like the person who's left behind.
Yeah.
Even if it's like, suppose there are 3 siblings and one of you unfortunately passes away, the 2 other siblings can have completely different reactions to it, right? It can be totally different. I know my one of my very close friends recently lost her father. And this was somebody who was divorced. The father and the mother had divorced, and the older sister had no relationship with him. but the younger sister, who was my friend, kind of did because she was in India and the sister was abroad. So she had a very mixed kind of reaction that, like, you know, it's a very strange feeling when, especially when you're estranged from that parent, right? Like, she had a very strange emotional turmoil that was going on, but her sister had just like, she just had completely, you know, sidetracked this event as, okay, it happened.
Yeah.
I didn't have any relationship with him, so I don't really care because whatever. It was just nothing for her. So it is different, even like, you know, it's different for different people.
So when my sister passed away, then I mean I can tell you like 3 different reactions that came from the same household. My mother had upfront become suicidal. So she though, like, even I think 2 years after her death, she actually was ready to kind of like, she was in the car and she was about to, let's say, do it. Wo aaju baaju wale kind of like stopped her. And I remember I was in my first year of college and I found out a bit later and the signs were there and I was like, I am there. For me, to be very fair with you, I had a lot of support from my friends, and at that time, because I was in school and the community of our school was as such that people came to me to help. So I was able to indulge myself in distracting, and also I tried to rationalize it. Because at the end of the day, I was thinking from a very logical point of view that she got the best life possible in the best time, because she had come to an age, she was 7, and luckily, like, even though she was Down syndrome, so the thing that happens, I know a lot of people are like, "Achi, ye to pagal hai," this and that. So she would like undress, she would just like roam around naked, and she could have at any point been kidnapped, been raped. She could have had a really bad death. So I was like very glad. Okay, you know, she had a very normal. Wow, I didn't know. No, I'm getting emotional. It's okay. It's okay. Like, I was very glad that how she passed away was nice. She was like safe. She was in a hospital. She was being loved for. So it was good. My father, on the other hand, I mean, he was not well at that time, but men in the society, by and large, they just like control their feelings. And they're like, we don't want to talk about it. Like, when my dadu was died, I remember my father, even though he cried and was upset, the other men in my family did not show emotion. My father, because he had gone through so much emotional breakdowns, he then became a person like now in his 60s who gets upset on everything, who cries on everything. So, wow, this was not a good idea. It's okay. I mean, at least like with my father now, because he's seen so much trauma and so much happened in his life, so he's become like much softer and he, you know, expresses his emotions. But in general, other men I've seen in society, in my family and stuff, like usually it's frowned upon, like to express or cry or have that sort of, you know, guard down. Like, you know, you're supposed to be like, this word is there that's called stonewalling, which a lot of men do when they're having a fight and the female is like, give me emotion, give me something, and then they stonewall. And then they're like, we are not going to express our feelings, whether you're angry, hurt, wanting to discuss, they don't do that.
Mine was pretty, so my experience with death was like very different, in grief in fact. Because so I lost my Masi, who was probably more of my parent than my parents, who brought me up essentially. So the backstory here is that my parents had me very young. They were very busy at that time. They were making a life for themselves, and at that point of time, my Masi kind of stepped up and looked after me forever. Literally, like, brought me up. And I even have her name tattooed, by the way, after she died. So like, yeah. I didn't know that. Like, yeah. A tattoo, but yeah, that's you. Yeah, so that's her name. And basically a very, very... It was, when I lost her, it was like losing... It was probably worse than losing a parent, because here I can't even express, na, ki, if you lose a parent and you tell someone, oh, I lost my mother, I lost my father, then they have that level of empathy. But here, like, I have to pura explain, na, ki, oh, this was my Masi, and then she meant this to me, and then this, that, right? And just doing that was a very tedious task, I felt. And I'm like, मैं क्यों किसी को explain करूँ? क्यों किसी को क्या ही करना है? मुझे नहीं करना है ये. So I kind of closed up a little bit.
And I kind
Also,
of, yeah.
I mean, in your case, you would directly get dismissal of your feelings, which is somehow worse. Like, no one's going to question
Exactly.
you. Like, what happened? Why are you upset about your mother passing away? Masi.
Yeah.
तो मैं 3 साल में एक बार मिलती
Yeah,
हूँ, guys.
exactly. So it would be like that.
So that's why I was like, मेरे को ना किसी को explain करना है. It was my own personal whatever feeling, and I became very stoic. Like, I remember even on a funeral, so I was very like emotionless. I think maybe on 2 occasions I must have cried after that. This is after 2016, so probably. And maybe the only person I have ever cried in front of is probably my husband and my parents, probably. But I don't know, the well has dried. It does not, like movies में कहीं पे भी emotional कुछ हो रहा है, I'm just like okay, great, good for you. It's like that. But I think for me it was the opposite, because because I was devoid of emotion, I wasn't showing any emotion. It was like people around were, and especially people who knew my relationship with her, were like, why is there no emotion coming out of her?
And at that time, so you don't think, right? You're just like, you don't know now. Yeah, and now you're like, तेरे को क्या है? तुझे क्या है? मतलब तेरे को issue क्या है? No, so a lot of times it's the ulta also. Like I remember when Sridevi died.
People were judging the daughters, Janvi and Khushi, that, oh, they are not mourning properly.
Yeah.
Who the f- are you to tell someone how you are going to mourn?
Yeah.
Right? It's a very personal thing. While you must talk openly about the process.
Yeah.
Why are you judging someone for the way they go through something, which is extremely personal?
I don't know, people just feel entitled, I guess, to dictate how someone should grieve. And also, for your point, right, that, you kind of became stoic and stuff, and you just, crawled inward and only cried like twice or something like that. I remember before my accident, I had the same thing. So when I was taking therapy in my school, and God bless Manisha ma'am, and shout out to you. You were like the best. She was like with me during my school, and even like for a few years when I was in college, she was still, meeting me and stuff. And she really helped me not become a complete nut piece, considering I know like a lot of my peers who had gone to, I won't say similar stuff, everyone's journey is different. Some have it worse, some have it better. But like they've, you got like teen pregnancy, alcohol abuse, drugs, a lot of stuff that could happen. I mean, I don't remember the doctor she was quoting, but it said that the wounds that don't find tears to bleed will find other organs to weep.
Oh, damn.
So she was like, you should ideally express yourself. And then the other thing that she said was, okay, you're strong right now. It might happen in the future that if you have one trauma or something that, just jolts you, you will just come crumbling. And I was like, yaar, itna kuch ho gaya. Like my dad seen, my sister seen, my dadu also. Like everything happened in like 5 years, that span. And like what now? So we're talking about grief. When my accident happened, I actually, because I also was quote unquote disabled, like for 6 months, I was not walking, a lot of stuff was happening. Like at that point, I started grieving for my mobility. I was scared. I didn't find the right doctor. There's a lot of stuff. And when the doctor told me that, you could have like X, Y, and Z issue and stuff, and you might have to have so many issues again, I started crying. That's when I broke down. All right. And then after that, I just came to a point where those 3 months were very dark. I was like, I couldn't even function without like crying when I was brushing my teeth. It was terrible. So now I kind of like remember what she said. And also now I feel like, yeah, it's a good thing and a bad thing, because there's something known which happened to my nani. It's called an enlarged heart, if I'm not mistaken. So what happens is when you keep your emotions entrapped, I'm not saying this will happen to you or happen to everyone. It just happens to people who can't express themselves. They have an enlarged heart where they end up dying because of that heart failure, because they're not able to express their emotions, their pain and stuff, and they just keep it inside.
Yeah, it's broken heart syndrome.
Yes.
It's a thing. It's an actual thing. Yeah.
So the scary part about that is like, okay, fine. Like if you cry too much, you could lose your vision. If you don't express, you could have a broken heart. Like a lot of stuff can happen.
Oh,
So,
damn.
yeah, you can't tell someone like how to grieve. Okay, let them pick their own way to express.
Yeah.
I mean, my coping mechanism for a long time was dark humor. Okay. So I would like, the death jokes that I would make. Oh my God, I would be in a very dark place, literally. And I would do that in a very safe space with my friends and all. So at least it was not like judged or looked upon weirdly. But I remember, like, I know this about a friend of mine who just went through a miscarriage, and her coping mechanism was also the same. Okay, like I don't remember the jokes that I made because it was a long time ago. But she would say stuff like, "Oh, I think Amazon won't hire me because I'm really bad at delivery." Okay, stuff like that. And I'm like, "Okay, why haven't you finished your drink?" And she's like, "Oh, that's the only way I can nurse." And I'm like, "Oh my god."
But I guess, I mean, people have different ways of coping, okay? Like, if you, I mean, imagine in that moment if I go like, "हो ऐसे कैसे बोल दिया तुमने?" Or how could you say something like that, or shaming someone for, for an emotional outlet that they are, for an emotional outlet that they are performing, that they are doing. It's a way of processing. And imagine if I invalidate that and say, "How could you do that?"
It's not fair. It's unfair because people have their own ways of processing. They have their own triggers. For someone, it may be a martini glass, a trigger. For someone, it may be something else.
So this reminds me of the 5 stages of grief.
Which, by the way, is a debunked theory. It does not exist. And in the psychology fraternity, it has been what do you say? Not just debunked, but also invalidated, and also people mention that it is not the right pressure to put on people who are grieving. Okay, continue.
Very good. In my experience, the 5 stages of grief, anger never comes. Alright, either people, I mean, if you call a person who's using alcohol to cope with his or her emotions and then becomes an angry alcoholic breaking things out of frustration, maybe, yeah, you can say anger then might be for some people, but not everyone turns to substance abuse. And not everyone is getting angry. By and large, most people, I think, have feelings of frustration, and they are kind of like, okay, I wish I did this, I wish I did that, I wish I did all the stitch in lines.
No, for personally, when I was grieving, it was very frustrating for me because that's when I was reading a lot and I was internalizing this whole thing.
Yeah.
And then when I read about 5 stages of grief, okay, I was pissed off because I'm like, ये वाली stages तो नहीं आ रहे मेरे, बार्गेनिंग तो नहीं आया है, ये तो नहीं है, एंगर में नहीं हुआ एंग्री यार, क्या बकवास है ये. Denial, yes, of course. I mean, that's kind of
Yeah, that's
because
definitely like,
I remember, yeah.
ये
Like,
क्या
remember,
हुआ?
even when I lost my dog, I would be at the same thing, right? That when I would open the door, I would like, imagine my dog running to me or whatever. But that is kind of a phantom sensation that, it's a very human thing. It's a very alive, breathing thing that you do. But I was just like, I would just feel regret that I didn't say things that I had to, or I didn't maybe look after her the way I should have, or all of that. But the rest of the things, I was just like, I felt very confined by these things, and I felt very abnormal in my this thing, in my heart, that okay, these are not things I'm going through. Am I okay? Am I normal? Is this not what I'm supposed to go through? Because mine was just a cycle. I was just like, denial, regret, sad, denial, sad, regret. That was all I was like,
Going for 3 buttons, not all 5.
like, exactly. What there's that meme na where he's like, red button or this red button. No, it was that. It was just that. I didn't feel any stages or anything. I just felt all of this and then numb. That was what I was.
So for me, mostly what happened was, it went like, obviously denial never really happened because, like, in both cases, it was a long drawn out clinical process that happened, like a lot of hospitalization, a lot of stuff. So I was expecting it to come. Then after that, I didn't have anger. I had I don't even want to say bargaining, because with both I kind of like had rationalized. I did have the regret feeling that you were mentioning, but my regret was like, maybe I should have spent more time with.
Yeah, even I had that.
Yeah.
More time. Maybe I should have fought with her because I used to fight a lot because it was a parent.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was just like, maybe I shouldn't have fought. Maybe I shouldn't have said this particular thing I said as an asshole teenager.
Yeah.
Maybe this is what, this is what I shouldn't have done. All of that.
Yeah.
So, like, I remember during this time I was thinking, like, one of the thoughts I got was I had dyed her hair. I used to help her dye her hair, okay. मैं बहुत ऐसे उस टाइम बहुत लेजी फील कर रही थी. So one whole line ना मैंने छोड़ दिया था, and I realized later after she washed her hair, and she obviously couldn't notice because it was at the back of the head. And then that point I was like, yaar, I wish I had done a proper job on her hair, because that's like one of the last times I cut her hair. Those things, I would think about those things like, okay, these maybe I should have done better in those things, right?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. ये नहीं कि बार्गेनिंग, ये मतलब और क्या था, एंगर व्हाई आई एम नॉट एंग्री, आई एम एंग्री एट मे बी लाइक द यूनिवर्स और व्हाटएवर, बट
No, I think like the time where these 5 stages worked for me in exact order was the time when my surgeon had mentioned it to me that okay, fine, you have to have your second surgery, this and that, and you are having the 5 stages of grief right now. And apparently that's what he tells all his patients, because grieving does work in this capacity also. You can grieve for anything, even if you have your like house gets burned. So then you will be grieving that loss also. That okay, fine, I lost my house, I lost my belongings. So
I mean, I feel like it's a little reductive.
yeah,
Easier to just give कि हाँ ये 5 चीजें होंगी आपके साथ, right? That's
not like all of them. So then I went through the whole stages. Like first I was denying why the fuck did it happen. Then I was angry at my ex-surgeon. I was like, क्या चूतिया, ठीक है. Then after that I had bargaining. अरे अगर मैं पहले आ जाती ये वो कर लेती, this and that. And then after that I was depressed when I actually began to inconsolably cry for like that period of time. And then acceptance came, like okay, fine, these are the cards you've dealt with. How do you have to come out of it? And then it was a slow and gradual process. It's acceptance when it comes to people that you that have helped shape you, like you know, especially like a parent. That I know my friend is pretty sad, but basically with her this happened, like her mother died and she got pregnant at that time, and her mother never got to see her child, and she was trying for a very long time. So in that case, like it will never, like those emotions will never heal. And for my mother, she became suicidal, all of that happened, and then she became like, finally she realized that, because I used to fight with her, like, you have one child, why are you mourning that loss? And then it took her years before she was like, okay, fine, coming to a senses that, you know what, this is the best course of action that could have happened for her life. It could have been better. That acceptance doesn't mean you accept what happened. It's like you accept matlab,
your situation, your reality, your new life as you. The only time I would feel anger is when you know, during her wake or during like her prayer meeting and all, people would come to me and say, oh, she's in a better place. And they would say ridiculous things, okay, like, oh, आपने homeopathy क्यों नहीं try किया?
Oh yeah.
And you know, like weird that shit like that, okay, and I'm like, तू कर लेना.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you mean? And I'm like, better. And at that time, you don't feel like saying anything. You're like, हाँ ठीक है, what? But later, you know, when I was like rewinding, circling back, like, what do you mean by better place? Better place would have been with me, watching a movie or chilling or having a chai or whatever. That's a better place. How dare you say anyone is in a better place? Please don't say those things. Like, it's so strange. And for me, like, I am a very full-blown, very loud and proud atheist. So when people say things like, oh, she's with God now. No, you don't know. It's fine. You don't know, right? For me, it is that somebody has ceased to exist. So you don't try to tell me that the permanence that I need to process and feel, don't tell me that it doesn't exist for me. Don't invite it. Don't tell me how to feel.
Yeah.
That was my anger part in the 5 stages. I was like, shut up.
Yeah.
मेरे को नहीं सुनना है.
The anger is the people.
Yeah, I'm angry at them.
Like this one relative that I had, he lived till 90. And I remember he used to say this to my mother that, you know, I'm already 94. I'm just done. I want to like die and stuff. And he just wanted to go. So in India, the concept of DNR is not there. That is basically do not resuscitate, where if suppose someone's on their deathbed, let's say if you have to give them CPR or any sort of medical interference to help them live longer, the person signed a DNR. So that means you cannot do that in order to help them survive and live a few more years.
Yeah, some people also get it tattooed.
Yeah.
In not in this country, but they get it. Yeah.
So I mean, on that note, I mean, you were like, I wish she was like having tea, this and that. Some people are living, when it comes to the physical bodies, a very disabled, crippling life. So in that case, I mean, I don't know. I know euthanization is banned in India, but I don't know. I have like very mixed feelings about it, because I know for a fact, like my sister, she would just undress at any point and run away. And I had a friend, I think you also know that girl. So her mother, she committed suicide. She was schizophrenic, and she used to be locked up in her own house because obviously medical treatment was not given, whatever the scene is. And she used to completely do the same thing. Like after pregnancy, some females do have postpartum depression, and that can also trigger schizophrenia if you have that gene in you. She did a lot of stuff, and then she ended up committed suicide at the end because she wanted to die anyways. At her brain, anyways, had like she was hearing voices and this and that. So it's, I mean, obviously, I understand grieving of her daughter and the family, but then there's this thing that, okay, fine, like maybe for them, how they're living is hell. And at that point, I don't know, it's very debatable. Like, what is the better place? What is the happier place?
Maybe in this context, like framing it in such a way, right? Like this was better for her, or this was something better than the life she was living. That I completely understand. But saying, even for this person saying in a better place, I feel like that's so reductive. Like, तुमको कैसे पता? How do you know it's a better place? Whenever they are.
Yeah,
They are. है ना? How do you know for certain? Don't say shit like that, ना. Don't say stuff.
That's, yeah.
कुछ मत बोलो ना, बस बैठ जाओ आराम. हाँ, बैठो आराम से किसी के पास, हाथ पकड़ो उसका. कुछ मत बोलो. Just don't say. अगर मतलब people say very weird things first of all, right? कि अरे चली गई. I'm like, okay, no shit, Sherlock. This is like very, North Indian.
Yeah.
I have seen who came to me and say, अरे चली गई. I'm like, हाँ ठीक है आंटी, मुझे पता है, मुझे दिख रहा है, literally. And this was, I tell you, so my Masi, fierce feminist. The reason that I am such a fierce feminist is because of her. So when she basically was like literally like a week before she died, she was like stubborn enough to tell my dad that मुझे अपना will बनाना है. Okay, and my dad my dad was sitting awkward like okay ऐसी चीज़ नहीं बोल सकते. Okay, and she was like no, I have to.
Yeah.
And she mentioned that okay, I am unmarried. And I have siblings who've had kids, and they are not alive. And your inheritance, like I want stuff to go to my niece, and it's going to be hell. Okay, so you have to do it. Okay, so while she was making the will, she also told my dad that I'm on all my last rites to be performed by Arshi. And and if somebody fights, to fight back with them, that she has to do it. And luckily, on the funeral day, I did all the final rites. I did the Vatka Torna and the Aag Lagana and that, which apparently women are not allowed to do.
Yeah, they're not.
Then imagine after doing all of that, which I did perform, them stoic, no crying, blah, whatever, contrary to popular belief of emotional women. Did that, and then after that, like when people come to console you, and best thing people were doing was hugging, holding hand, good, great. And then these idiot aunties of swine come and say, "Arey chali gayi." I'm like, no shit, Sherlock. I literally burnt her body. मतलब पूरी तरह जलने तो फिर मुझे बताना फैक्ट फिक्शन क्या है. What the hell was that? And literally तुमको पता नहीं है यार, चुप रहो ना, हग कर दो बस, हाथ पकड़ो मेरा. That's all you need to do.
Traumatic also, like doing all of that. Like I have a few friends, obviously men, who have done it, and this again, then I was telling you about the stonewalling of guys. So I mean, you also have in some format, like no, ऐसा you just stonewall and you're like, okay, fine, I'm just like अंदर से मैं एकदम पत्थर.
Yeah. No, but उस time तक sinking भी नहीं होता है. हाँ. You're not even processed till then. Then it's just like, हाँ, it's something like I'll go back, I'll meet her.
Yeah.
घर पे. It's like that.
Exactly.
हाँ, it's in a place where she's घर पे आज वो जहाँ हम इस outing के लिए आए हैं वो इसमें नहीं आई है, but घर पे बैठी होंगी.
Yeah.
It's like that, right? In your head you feel like that.
Yeah, the absence. Yeah, I mean, it really depends. Oh my fucking lord.
ये episode इतना dark है कि हमें darkness दे रहा है.
And like I feel like the rituals also that happen in most countries and cultures is like the initial time where maybe you could sit down in the silence and in the absence and just absorb it. There's so many people that keep coming and meeting you and talking, and your house is so bhara hua that it doesn't hit you. And after the month or 2 month mark, then you're like, okay, now this is actually quiet and this is final. And then you're like, also the packing up of the stuff is something which I do genuinely find good. Because if suppose you're already like mentally dark and you're triggered, so the emptying of the rooms and the house and like, you know, hiding the stuff, so to speak, covering the shisha and all. That just helps. I mean, I personally have felt like it helps. It kind of like makes you realize and come to terms faster.
Yeah. No, so I tell you, in the animal kingdom, so suppose there are two litters of dogs or litters of kittens, right? So if they lose a sibling or if they lose their parent in the animal kingdom, if they don't see the dead body of the animal carcass, they lose their mind because they don't have closure.
Yeah.
Animals, right? They don't have closure because they need to know where this person has gone, where this animal has gone. They think they are abandoned and then they slowly start losing their mind.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. You need to see that physical absence. And you know, like I remember even in cats, I like my one of my cats died a long time back. So the cat who was alive, he would sit at the balcony and keep crying and keep looking for my other cat. Okay, and he would just be like, he lost his shit. He's already, I think, still depressed because of it. But he would just, and then we took him to the vet, and the vet said, "Did he see the other cat die?" And we're like, "No." Because he met in an accident. He was an outdoor cat, and he said, "Yeah, because he didn't see him die, so he just left and he's lost, and he's still looking for him. He's trying to call out to him." I think, and that's, I think, similarly, even in we are of course very primal beings inside. We need that permanence. Now we need that absence. We need to see it.
Yeah.
To, you know, to have that closure, right? I always feel like cremation in a way like gives you that final you know, goodbye, that final day, like this person is gone forever.
I mean, I feel any format of goodbye is, I mean, it's culture dependent, but I feel like my mother, she was not allowed again, like you were allowed. My mother, she was not allowed, so she fought her way inside. She was like, and also like at least in Hindu, 7 साल के नीचे के बच्चों को, you bury them, you don't burn them. So she fought her way in order to, you know, be there and stuff. But she like let her have this. And a really fucked up thing, I don't know, does it happen in all mortuaries or is it just the ones in Noida? But because there's only so much land, so what they do is, let's say if a child has died, right, they're going to bury the child like 5 foot under. Then after that, they're going to put this thing. Then 3 foot uske upar, they bury another. And 2 foot upar, they're going to bury another because there's not space in the ground. So basically, the graveyards over here for the children are like this only, that you're going to find multiple dead bodies for a lot of babies, one on top of another. So my mom, though, in fact, fought, I want a tombstone, not even like straight, I want a slanting. I don't want you lifting that shit up and putting someone else on her. She is going to get her space. So she had, yeah, my kid will get a bungalow, no multi-story shit for that, for my child. Land ki apartment. I'm sorry, this is my coping mechanism. I remember I used to do that in school, but when I used to do it in school, and at that time my what shall I say, PG-13 humor had just come and everything had to be rated R because I was like swift like that. So everything was a dirty joke. Oh my god. So just imagine like I was mixing dirty jokes with like morbid topics and people were like, this woman, she be fucked. Yeah. I completely understand. Yeah. No, because I was like, so one of my very, very close friends recently lost her dad. And she would say things like, oh, Father's Day aa raha hai. Acha, mera wala to Halloween pe hai. So, okay, stuff like that. Yeah, chata. Actually, I casually say these things, okay, and we actually went for a Halloween party like a year later, and I was like, happy Halloween. She's like, no, happy Father's Day. Lovely. Okay. So yeah, like she's a little crazy, but I mean, aren't we all? But I guess again, like that coping mechanism that is cool. I mean, it's okay. I mean, like, however one chooses to grieve on whatever topic, it's cool, man. Yeah. It should be cool. But, like, you know, speaking of exclusion of women in these situations, so in college, I lost a very close friend. And I remember, and this is a 19-year-old girl who died. And her mother and she wanted to get an electric funeral done for her because she was very environmentally conscious. So her mother was told to stay out
in this thing, and she was not even in a halat to care at that time. Okay, she was obviously, I mean, she had lost her shit. But I'm like, तुम उनको नहीं भी बोलते ना,
Yeah.
तो फर्क नहीं पड़ता. But
Yeah.
still, just rubbing it in at that point of time, telling her that, oh, you are not allowed, right, in this thing, you can't go in there. Just seeing that, just reinforcing that is like cruel. Okay, just seeing that, and
Yeah.
I was just like, bhai, तुम मत ही बोलो ना, let her be.
Yeah.
Don't say anything. Like, just read the room, read the damn room.
These guys, it's just, I don't know, they become kind of like detached. And also the people who are dealing with, you know, the electric version of this
Cremation.
electric cremation, these people are so dead from inside, because I have seen 2 electric cremations, not actually seen, but
It
yeah.
happens like this. Right? It's like scary. Yeah?
And also, उनका पता है क्या purpose होता है? Like, apart from like some people having the choice in your case, these guys are usually seeing like a lot of fucked up people dying. Some people who have been left abandoned, dead in the house for months, because sometimes dead bodies become a biohazard and their hair can't go up. So then they are the electric cremation actually started because of that. Otherwise, people all around, let's say if they had like some disease, it's going to be in the environment.
Of course,
Yeah. So, but they also have like, if for them it's a day in and day out process now. Like, if you, let's say, I mean, I sometimes commend doctors, especially emergency doctors, a lot. You have to every day in and day out, at least break a news to someone that someone has, like, yeah, someone has died, someone has gone, whatever the scene is, or someone might not make it. And for that person, every time is the first time.
yeah.
But for the doctor, it's like routine.
Yeah, for them, they are dead inside. I mean, it's amazing how they do it and still, like, you know, lead a normal life. Like, especially like cardiologists and like surgeons and stuff, right? Like heart neurons and all those people. ER doctors, man, they're made of something else. Like, literally, if you can just keep doing it and live your life normally, like,
No, that's why the suicide rates are so high. Like, I think doctors and psychiatrists, they have the highest suicide rate, like top 5, top 10.
प्रोफेशन इतना लोगों का कचरा अब्सॉर्ब करोगे तो कहीं ना कहीं से तो निकलेगा.
Guys, I know it's a very heavy topic, and if you felt grief while hearing it, I'm sorry you're feeling this way, but I'm also glad, you know, you're feeling things. It's good to let it out.
So this was something important that we wanted to talk about because we don't normally talk about these things, and it's important to get it out on a public forum. So I know, like, most of you, maybe not all, must have gone through something like that. So we're just here to say that we empathize. We're sensitive people. we have our own stories, and somewhere everybody does have
Their own story.
their own stories, and it's something that everyone is going to go through at some point of time, but nobody talks about it. But yeah, we're here to talk about it with you. So please do tell us about your experiences if you want to. If you don't, you can also DM us.
Yeah.
And yeah, and if you enjoyed this, or if you liked this, or if you related to it, please do tell us in the comments.
And do tell us if you would want us to talk on similar topics. We do talk every week on new topics. Usually they're much more upbeat and fun than this, but we just felt like today for World Grief Day, we should have something that actually could just show us more in a transparent light. And I hope we connected to you and you can connect to us too on this.
Absolutely.
So see you next week, and continue the talks with your girlfriend, and please follow Gulgappa.
Also, please give us a like, and so share this with your girlfriends, with everyone who's been through this, not been through this. Please do, and subscribe to Gulgappa, please. Also, please follow us on other channels. The links are in the description. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned.